Hello, today's the 30th of August, 2024. I wanted to make a quick observation on the Jonbenet Ramsey case, and the observation being that the parents were utterly and completely, almost completely oblivious, seemingly, of the consequences in the ransom note. They ignored the instructions that were repeatedly put on the ransom note for them to follow, with very dire and deadly consequences. And it appears that they, from the first second, that not only Patsy, when she read the note, but also John, when they both read the note, seemingly they utterly ignored every and all instructions in the ransom notes. They went poof right over their heads, or they chose to ignore it without hesitation. And I believe that is quite concerning, that they did not even try, not for 1 minute, to follow the instructions, at the very least attempt to hide the fact that they were not following instructions, because the first thing that Patsy did, either briefly before or briefly after calling 911, was to call friends and family. It was actually friends and even her religious leader, her reverend. Again, this going completely against what the threats, completely against the actual threats on the ransom note. So they acted like the ransom note was fake to begin with. They did not believe or trust or go by a single thing that the ransom note said. However, they seem to have been playing along a little after with some of the things, some of the demands from the ransom note, such as the ransom money. There were some attempts made, to my knowledge, to get the money. There were also some attempts made to receive the phone call and perhaps trace the phone call by the police and the Ramseys. However, there was almost no attempt by the Ramseys to hide the fact that they were contacting people left and right, including the police, including friends, outside of their house, when the ransom notes had very deadly consequences for doing such thing. There was no attempt to disguise the fact that the police was coming in and out of their home. There was no attempt to disguise the fact that there were people coming in and out of their home as soon as the incident happened. So this pretty much brings the blame into the household. This utter and complete ignorance and omission of damn near every demand on the ransom note, and the lack of concern, the lack of worrying for the consequences of the ransom note. There was not one time that I am aware of that they told the police, told the friends to attempt to disguise or attempt to not make any noise or not go out the door or attempt to come in through the back door. There was no attempt to hide the fact that they were contacting people outside of their house, left and right. And that tells me one thing, and that is that they knew, or they had a very confident knowledge and feeling that the ransom note was fake to begin with. And so early into the incident, into the happenings, the occurrences of the time, the first few minutes of them finding the ransom note, they acted this way is very suspicious to my estimation, to my view. Because if I were a parent whose child is missing and the only thing linking me to their possible return is a ransom note with instructions in it, I would make sure that I am doing my damnedest, my best, to at least attempt to make the possible kidnappers believe that I am actually trying to follow instructions. I am going to do my damnedest to attempt to follow the instructions, and even if and when I am going to deviate from the instructions, I am going to do the damnedest to make sure that that is not known by whatever kidnapper or assailant or the criminals. I am going to try to hide my intentions to deviate from the instructions in the ransom notes as much as humanly possible. And this was not even tried. This apparently was not even a concern by the Ramseys, nor by the police. Again, the house was packed with people coming in and out early on. So the note was treated as garbage from minute one. And I find this very disturbing and very suspicious. That brings the suspicion more to the inside of the house than to any would-be outside intruder. Thank you very much.